We're in downtime mode Destiny 2 for the next couple of months, which means it's probably a good time to start thinking about some quality of life changes for the game. Let's talk about Glimmer and armor elements, some popular community concerns as of late. I want to give my take on some of these issues. Let's talk about Glimmer first. Glimmer costs to socket mods are the main reason why your favorite item management tool or extension for Destiny is not able to save mods in your gear sets, because these tools are not able to spend Glimmer for you. If this cost was removed, then hypothetically we would be able to make these gear sets automatically swap in mods into our armor. This would significantly reduce the amount of time players would spend having to figure out which mods they put where if they decide to change things up, because they could just save them. Not everyone is like me, where they can afford to have several sets of masterworked armor across multiple characters, thus reducing the need to memorize so many things. But even for someone like me, I like experimenting with different mod loadouts and having to remember every single piece of armor in every single set and every single element and mod slot is a big pain in the ass. The cost of swapping mods is negligible. It's 500 Glimmer, so why not just remove this limitation completely? My guess for why this limitation exists is that there could be some scenarios where being able to hot swap your mods rapid fire might create some gameplay issues. However, at least with Destiny Item Manager, if you try to swap to a different set of armor mid-gameplay, it won't equip it for you. Same with weapons. I would assume mods would not swap as well. They would not allow mods to be hot swapped mid-combat or mid-destination. It would be something that you would do in orbit. That was my main guess as to potentially a gameplay-based issue. So beyond that, I'm not sure what the issue would be to allow free mod swapping to make loadouts more convenient with these tools. Obviously, if Bungie came out and said that free mods break the game in some way, then, what can we do? And I'm sure there are people who would love to figure out ways to break the game as a result. But I definitely would like to hear Bungie speak on this issue. The sheer convenience of being able to save mods completely outweighs any sort of gameplay aspect of having to spend Glimmer to resocket mods, especially considering you can just buy Glimmer. For veterans, buying Glimmer is a non-issue and will be even less of one in Witch Queen, but for newer players, this can limit their ability to experiment, especially considering how tough the game can be for new players with regards to getting mods in the first place. I'm not sure this next topic is in the limelight as much, but seasonal artifact resets. Is there a need to have a Glimmer cost to reset the artifact? What is the purpose of this cost? Upon your first resets, the costs are very low, making them more of an inconvenience if anything else. But at higher expenses, it's much more annoying having to drop everything you're doing, go to the spider, buy a bunch of Glimmer, reset the artifact, repick your mods, come back to the activity that you were doing. Could we just cut the middleman? This is where there might be more issues. It would be really convenient if there were a way to simply unselect a mod from the artifact and just pick a different one, but I'm guessing that there could be some gameplay issues there where it bugs out and now you got the entire artifact unlocked. You might create a situation where people are potentially swapping their mods mid-fight, swapping two mods over and over to exploit something or just to get something done in a really not great way, like not in the spirit of the game, which isn't something you'd really want to have happen as a developer. Last thing you want to see is LFM Vault of Glass must have dim to hyperswap seasonal artifact mods on LFG sites or something like that. Maybe you could lock it in an activity or have there be a cost while in an activity and then it's free everywhere else, but then that could get confusing to some people or just kind of annoying, so this might not be as simple of a fix. Otherwise, I don't know why this cost needs to exist other than to be a Glimmer drain. I'd argue the main Glimmer drain for most people is buying upgrade modules, and that seasonal artifact resetting is a very low source of Glimmer expenditures, but I could be wrong. Finally, elemental armor restrictions. Bungie did good by removing the limits of weapon mods, specifically Finders, Reloader, Scavenger mods, making it so any weapon can be used with any element of armor. They are element free, and this was a massive win for the community, a massive convenience, to say the least. Very celebrated change. Now, in the past, I was okay with having certain things locked to elements because there weren't really that many mods that we had to play with, so I wasn't really inconvenienced by it as much. Nowadays, though, with so many mods and so many options, the moment you want to change any of your mods or armor, it's like an all-day situation of rearranging armor elements and armor pieces to fit your one build, especially if you're running these elemental well mods where now you gotta match your weapon element with your subclass element with the armor element. I have, 15 sets of armor across 3 characters. I don't mod the crap out of all of them. Some of them just have very generic builds, but that's because I know what I would need to do in order to change that build, and I just can't be bothered. My Elemental Well video really shined a light on how annoying it is to constantly have to rotate armor elements just to try certain mod loadouts. I'm drowning in upgrade material as well. I'm constantly looking for reasons to even use it so that I can pick up more of it from Shaxter Zavala so I can reset my reputation track, because my chat keeps asking, "Hey Datto, why aren't you resetting your reputation track?" And I think it's annoying. I can't imagine what it's like for people who don't have a big stash of materials ready. Now, I'm guessing this fee exists as a way to drain these materials from your inventory. Without a way to drain materials, you would just be able to hoard them, and Bungie seems very anti-hoarding materials nowadays due to these caps, even though most people just store stuff in their Postmaster anyway. I've probably lost more materials in the Postmaster than most people have ever collected. For people at the high end, this cap is meaningless, but that's another topic. Not to mention that without a need for these materials, a big part of grinding endgame nightfalls would cease to exist. Obviously, the best case scenario is having a situation where once you masterwork an item, you're free to swap elements whenever you want. I don't think that's going to happen, even though it would be the ideal for most people. So we could have something where you pay a one-time fee to ultra masterwork, whatever you want to call it. And so after you ultra masterwork an item, you can swap the elements for free. You could do elemental masterwork, where you pay the masterwork fee to unlock each element to be able to swap to it for free. This pushes a little more towards investing into your armor and is also still a pretty significant material drain for those with excess materials. I know I would be spending my materials more if I could do that. If you didn't have those extra materials, then nothing would really change for you, I guess, which could be a negative. I could absolutely see the convenience in even being able to swap to one other element for free with an elemental masterwork, being able to go from, solar to void and back. Hell, have the material cost scale up if you're that worried. One element costs 1 shard, the second costs 2, the third costs 3. But this might create a situation where people would not want to give up their armor because they invested all those materials into it. But now with transmog being a thing, is that really a big deal? Let's be honest, how many people are really rotating through that much new armor nowadays? Once you have a couple of good rolls, once you have a couple of good chest pieces, you're probably done collecting that armor. I understand that part of the mod situation in the past was Bungie not wanting to overload people's brains with pages and pages of mods, which is why an elemental masterwork thing might work out a bit more than just unloading the entire suite of mods for every element. Some organizational tools might remedy that issue though. Anyway, that's my take on the whole situation with Glimmer and armor mods and all that. Of course, things are always going to seem like a much more simple fix than what we think, but the truth is we never really know what's going to break the game, what's not going to break the game. But I would love to hear Bungie speak about these community concerns while we have this downtime in the live game. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. You whining, Brim? You been a little whiner? Oh, you didn't spend 8 hours with me today. You only spent 6. Oh, Brim, I'm a big whiner. Smush.